Alright, guys, so the anniversary is about to be 2 weeks away. Technically, it's 2 weeks and 2 days away until it is officially time that we can start summoning on the new banners. But since it's 2 weeks away, it is pretty much time for us to start making our 7th anniversary prediction. So this is gonna be my full 7th anniversary predictions. When I say full, I don't mean just the characters, the characters, like the formats. I'm talking about characters, formats, possible events, platinum equipment, Zenkai's, like a full guide, because this is supposed to be the hypest of the year. So I want to make this a mega like 7th anniversary, 7th anniversary predictions. So without further ado, I'm not going to waste any more of you guys' time. We're going to start off with now talking about the characters that I think we can. Actually, we're going to start off with the format that I think. So actually, we could just say it now. So for part one, what a lot of people have been saying is that they think that we could get a potential ultra starting for the part one. Now, me personally, I wouldn't like that, because look how much CC I'm at. Even on the LF banner, I'm cooked. Of course, unless Tony throws me a bone and I end up getting them. Again, we don't know yet. We don't know. But most 9 times out of 10, I'm going to get shafted. And if I do, completely understandable. And I can't get mad. But, if I get the 1% sparking, I'm also still going to be very surprised. But not only that. So, the thing about this. That means if an ultra's gonna start, we're gonna have to get two ultras, right? So I'm thinking ultra part one, like an ultra character headlining part one alongside an LF character. So it could be an ultra and LF character. Like, I think that's one of the only ways they can top the part one of the 6th anniversary. Which even then, that might not even top the 6th anniversary, because bro, the 6th anniversary had two fusion characters. Like, what could possibly top that? Unless you get an Ultra Tag Unit or an Ultra Legends Limited, which I'm going to cover soon. Now, for part two, simple, two Legends Limited characters. Part two is 9 times out of 10 the worst part. The only time, I guess you could say it wasn't the worst part, was during the 5th anniversary. Because it was definitely not. Because, of course, in my opinion, Ultra Vegito Blue was the highest reveal of the 5th anniversary. Like, Goku or Frieza too, but we all expected that. Gamma 1 and 2, we did not expect that. So I think part 2 is like part 1 of the 5th anniversary was hype, but the least hype of those, in my opinion. But again, I'll talk about the 7th anniversary. So for part 2, two LF characters, be very hype, like not like good enough to headline an anniversary, and not good enough to end an anniversary, but good enough to be at least part of the anniversary, right? And then for part 3, I think we could get another Ultra character, or they could do the standard 2 LS for part 1, 2 LS for part 2, and then an Ultra for part 3. So, but again, if they were to change the formats, Ultra for part 1 along with a Legends Limited, I will personally be summoning a Legends Limited because I do not have the CC. Or I will summon on the Ultra first, try to get him, then get CC for the LF unit. But of course, I would rather just get the less greater unit, but didn't get something, right? They get nothing, right? Anyway, so that's what I think the format's going to be. Part 1, an Ultra and a Legends Limited. Part 2, two Legends Limited characters. And for part 3, of course, another Ultra, right? So now that we covered the format, now it's time for us to now talk about the characters. So if we are going to start off with an Ultra for part 1, I think it is pretty easy to tell that the Ultra will be MUI Goku. Because let's think about this. We're all expecting Universe Rep, right? We already expected that with the full power, not the full power, with Golden Frieza being released. And then on top of that, we got like a Tournament of Power themed co-op. And on top of that, No. That's kind of really it, right? And on top of that, like, let me see if there's anything else. Because if you go to missions, right? If you go to missions, they changed something. I mean, it's not really a hint. You got Super Saiyan Blue Goku with Shallot now. I mean, of course, it's not really hinting anything, but still, we could be seeing some potential Zenkais to hint. But the fact that we got Golden Frieza already hints the fact that we're going to be getting Universe Rep. If you guys don't know, a free-to-play character 99.9% of the time does hint the next upcoming character. And the fact also that we got a Limit Break banner shows that we're going to be getting something super hype. Because when the Limit Break banner drops, it is proof that we're going to be getting something super hype, super broken. Because the Limit Break banner is a banner where you can't get shafted on. Like, that's one of the only banners that you can't get shafted on. Because you're not summoning on the Limit Break banner to get the characters. You're summoning for the Z power. Which proves that that banner is very valuable. And the fact that we get that banner, now next we're going to get a super hype, valuable character. So, because that dropped, Ultra MUI is a very good pick. Because he is indeed an Ultra that a lot of people have been wanting since 5th year, right? Since 5th year, people have been wanting like an Ultra MUI Goku of some sorts. And of course, that would have been hype, but that would be hype. But of course, we needed to get Ultra UI Sign Goku before, of course, we get, the mastered version of Ultra Instinct, which I guess is not really mastered, right? They confirmed that it's just called Ultra Instinct, but the first one is called Ultra Instinct Omen. But we all call it Ultra Instinct Sign, and we all call this mastered Ultra Instinct just so we don't get it mixed up. But yeah, so I think this is pretty good for the Ultra. I mean, of course, if we're not getting an Ultra for part 1, then this is definitely the Ultra for part 3. I mean, again, they are changing some things, so I do not know yet. But of course, we're going to figure it out, right? We're going to figure it out. Well, without further ado, let's move on to the LF character that I think is going to be coming out. So the LF character that I think could be coming out alongside Ultra MUI Goku is fusing Super Gogeta. Now, so far, every anniversary that we have been in has had at least one Fusion Warrior character. For the first year anniversary, we got LF Super Vegito. For the second anniversary, LF Vegito Blue. And we also did get Omega Shenron too. But the third anniversary, we got Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta along with Purple Vegito Blue and Half Brothers Zamasu. 3 Fusion Warriors, right? For the 4th anniversary, we got Ultra Super Vegito. 5th anniversary, Ultra Vegito Blue. 6th anniversary, Fusing Super Vegito, Fusing Super Gogeta. Fusing Super Vegito, Fusing Gogeta Blue, and Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. So the 6th anniversary style I have named has had at least one Fusion Warrior. I don't see why they will break the trend now. Because after we get this, the next picks is an LF Fusing Vegito Blue. Then we're going to have to get an LF Fusing Gotenks. Like, you can also make games original. So it's kind of like, it's a never-ending cycle, right? But we'll get into games originals soon. But an LF Fusing Super Gogeta makes the most sense. We already have an LF Fusing Super Vegito, and we already have an LF Fusing Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. The next big form after that is Super Saiyan Gogeta, right? Because the only forms we experience of Gogeta canon is Super Gogeta, which I guess technically isn't really canon. Is Super Gogeta really canon? Let's ask this: is Super Gogeta canon? I think I spelled it right. Canon. Yeah, Super Gogeta is canon, right? So the only canon forms of Gogeta that we have is Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan Blue. And we already got Fusing Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. So the next big pick is Fusing Super Gogeta. And that also made people wonder, are we going to get a Fusing Vegito Blue? I think that's possible, not for this anniversary. We literally just got LF Vegito Blue, which is still very relevant to this day. And on top of that, Universe Rep is going to get some sort of representation. And Super Gogeta nor Vegito Blue is a Universe Rep character, right? So, in my opinion, I think an LF Super Gogeta makes the most sense because the last Super Gogeta character that we've gotten was back in October of 2023. about to be 2 years ago. So, an Ultra MUI Goku with the Super Gogeta is definitely two very great picks to compete with the part 1 of the 6th anniversary. Now, let's move on to potential Zenkais. No, actually, let's move on to 1% Sparkies that I think we can see. So, if we do end up getting a 1% Sparking on Ultra MUI Goku's banner, the 1% Sparking that I think we could get if Ultra MUI Goku does have one is a tag or an assist Topo and Dispo. Now, mind you this, we could end up getting a 1% Sparky Jiren. But I don't think we need a 1% Sparking Jiren. We don't need another one, right? We do not need another one. If we ever do get a new Sparking Jiren, he's either paired up with one of the Pride Troopers, or he's just going to be a game's original type character. Because there's no reason why we need another 1% Sparking Jiren. We already have, because Jiren only has 2 forms. His base form and his full power form. We already got a 1% Sparking just base Jiren. Then we got a 1% Sparking transforming Jiren. No reason to get 1% Sparking. The only Jiren that we need is now an Ultra Jiren, right? Which I think is definitely about to happen during this year. I'm not saying it's guaranteed. We can get it next year. But if we're going to be focusing on Universe Rep, then we could definitely see it this year. But Topo and Dispo is a very good pick because they did try to fight MUI Goku. I mean, they tried to fight UI Goku, not MUI Goku, right? But it's a very good pick because the last Topo character we've gotten, I think, was the Green God of Destruction, which right now sucks. The only thing he kind of needs to be somewhat good is an equipment, which even then probably won't happen. I mean, I'm not saying it's guaranteed it's not going to happen. Actually, very possible. But the Green God of Destruction Topo sucks. So we could get a Speed Blitz Dispo. Like, this could be Games Originals, right? Because when Topo and Dispo fought together, Topo wasn't God of Destruction, nor was Dispo doing the Speed Blitz, right? So I think this could be a very good 1% Sparking pick. And it will also be super hype, right? And they can have some mechanic, like if the opponent does a blue card, right? Kind of like Jackie Chun, right? If the opponent does a blue card, like instead of countering strikes and blasts, they can counter blue cards and ultimates, right? So Dispo can Speed Blitz, and then Topo can land, Dispo can Speed Blitz, and then Topo can land that attack, right? And it can either paralyze, feint, or it does damage. It can do one of those, right? So, this could be a very good pick, and this will also be a very fun character. Like, I don't know if you guys can see, this character here would be so fun to use. Because they can have so much mechanics that make them fun. And on top of that, is characters that doesn't really get that much representation in Dragon Ball games, really, right? But yeah, guys, so let's move on to the 1% Sparky that I think could come out for fusing, Super Gogeta's banner. I mean, obviously, the 1% Sparky has to be Janemba, right? It makes sense. He's the main antagonist of the Fusion Reborn movie. And on top of that, the only other characters I can see is a Super Saiyan 3 Goku or a Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta. But it wouldn't make sense. Because if we're getting a fusing Super Gogeta, that means Goku and Vegeta's already going to be included. So the only thing that makes sense is the antagonist being the 1% Sparking. Now, Janemba could be the LF. Again, it's still to be determined. But it's definitely, I'm 99.9% sure that's not going to be the case. Janemba isn't really anniversary worthy. He's hype, but he's not hype enough to headline the anniversary. You know what I'm saying? So, you can make him a character for the anniversary, 100%. But you cannot make him an LF, and we already got an Ultra Janemba, right? But you cannot make him an LF. 1% Sparking, okay, sure. The only time I think you can make him an LF is if you do a game's original Janemba, like a tag Janemba and Boo, right? Then you can do that. Or a Janembu, right? Which I think Legends will probably never do. But Legends is unpredictable. They can give us a triple tag unit for all we know. But yeah, I think this is a very good pick, and this is the only pick because there's nothing else. Unless they introduce giant characters. then we could get like a fat Janemba and transform into Super Janemba. Or they could do that thing that Dokkan did where like Janemba has a rage mode, right? And then he gets like extra damage or something for like 5 timer counts, right? Like the opponent like vanishes, is took away, and like the key cost is like super high. And on top of that, like then they can't switch. So it's kind of like he can just get a free kill, which I guess is broken. But we have Ku in the game. We need somebody to wipe him out. And I think Janemba's color could be red, but we're not going to get like that far in, right? But yeah, guys, so we covered the One versus Sparkings. Now we're going to talk about potential Zenkais and potential equipments, right? So now let's move on. So although I'm saying that we could get an Ultra MUI Goku, and it wouldn't make sense for us to get an MUI Goku Zenkai, it really does. Think about it. He is long overdue for an equipment or a Zenkai. This character is about to reach. Yo, I cannot speak. This character is about to reach 3 years old. There is no reason why he doesn't have an equipment, why he doesn't have a Zenkai, why he doesn't have both. But mind you this, Green Trunks has a Zenkai before MUI Goku could get an equipment, and he came out before Trunks. Dragon Fist got the Zenkai and an equipment. I don't know if it's because those two characters were bad on release. I don't know if it's because they just fit the campaign the most. I understand why you would give the green Mini Daima Goku a Zenkai, because he's the only character from Daima. You know, like, he was the first character from Daima, and he's also the only character from Daima that can get a Zenkai and can actually buff, the new Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, right? But from Sagas, you could have picked so many other characters that didn't have to be Super Saiyan 3, Dragon Fist Goku. Now, if they confirmed that it was an LF, fine, sure. But I don't think they really did. Even if they did, let's look at this. So, at the time being, you could have gave him a Zenkai. I know technically he wouldn't fit the whole Broly movie thing, but Super Saiyan 3 Goku doesn't either. You could have gave him a Zenkai, because he came out before MUI Goku in these sagas, and he's long overdue for a Zenkai. You could have gave, it was Sagas from the movie Z, right? And he was from Dragon Ball Z, right? So that makes sense. I can't even really say you could give him a Zenkai. I think he also has an equipment, but he could get a new one too. What else, to be honest? Like, what else could they do? I think that's kind of the only pick, and probably the pick that makes the most sense. Why would they Zenkai Dragon Fist when he already has an equipment? But meanwhile, this Gohan doesn't have an equipment, doesn't have a Zenkai, so I think, me personally, MUI Goku should get a Zenkai. He's long overdue for one, and on top of that, he is definitely worthy of a Zenkai or an equipment, right? But I think personally he deserves a Zenkai more. Now, let's move on to the second character that I think could get a Zenkai, right? So, I'm not only saying LF Zenkais, just Zenkais in general, right? Because I think there will only be like 2 Zenkais for part 1. Maybe, right? But I think another Zenkai is Pikkon. Now, of course, Pikkon isn't going to be used. He's literally a year 1 unit. He is as old as dirt. So, of course, if he gets a Zenkai, unless they give him some mega busted ability, which even then probably won't save him, but unless they give him like some mega busted ability, Pikkon will continue to be a bitch even with the Zenkai. But he deserves one. Mind you, he's as old as dirt. He's the oldest Sparking. In my opinion, I think he is the oldest Sparking of these sagas for the movies tag. I can be completely wrong. I think Broly probably dropped before him. But that's not true. Because I watched Endecuba Summon, and he pulled Pikkon on Broly's banner. So, Pikkon is the oldest Sparking character of the sagas for the movies tag. And yet, guess who got a Zenkai before him? He got a Zenkai and an equipment. But Pikkon doesn't have a Zenkai nor an equipment. Now, of course, for anniversaries, they might drop another LF Zenkai. Like, it might not just have to specifically be from the Fusion Reborn movie. But if it is, Pycon is a pretty good pick. Not good for using or trying to get high ranked PvP. Good because he needs one. I'm not saying he deserves one. He needs one. He's been in the game for 7 years, probably about to be 7 years, and yet he doesn't have an equipment yet. An equipment definitely won't save him. So give him a Zenkai and an equipment, he just might be decent. And then might fall off within the next week or two. But of course, characters like him, of course Zenkais aren't going to save him. Because he's as old as dirt. He came out during this game's release. We all know Zenkais aren't. We know a Zenkai isn't going to save him. Unless they give him plus 400% to damage or something, and then add endurance, and then he has a counter, then this guy will obviously be super good. But since Zenkais doesn't make that happen, I mean, it does make endurance happen. But since Zenkais doesn't really make that happen, he's gonna be like not that good. But a very good Zenkai for a good bench, right? Now for Ultra Platinum equipments. Way too soon. I wouldn't say way too soon, but too soon. But here's the only Ultra from the Fusion Reborn movie that can get a platinum equipment. Now, of course, they can obviously still make a Saga for the Movies character with an equipment, right? But if we go to Saga for the Movies and we go to Ultra, the only character here that could be getting an equipment is Gogeta Blue. But why? Because he's not going to hit anything. He's not going to fit with the whole rhythm. Because this is Gogeta from the Z. This is Gogeta from Dragon Ball Z. This is Gogeta from Super. So how would he end up getting equipment in this? I think he could get an equipment this year, definitely. But definitely not now, if we do get a Super Gogeta. Definitely not possible. So, of course, Janemba is probably the only pick. Again, I don't think that's going to happen because he's not even 2 years old yet. He's not even 2 years old yet. Of course, when Rose got the equipment, he wasn't even 2 years old yet. But he was close. He was close. Of course, this is probably the only pick, right? And then, also, if we do look at Universe Rep, the only Ultra here I can see is Ultra Hit. It's Ultra Hit. This is the only character from Universe Rep that can get an equipment, right? Let's think about this. Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku was the first Universe Survival Saga character to get an Ultra. And he already got an equipment. And right now he's buns. He's buns. But, so we already established that he already has the equipment, right? Ultra UI Sign Goku is way too soon. Way too soon. We have a couple of months left before not even a couple of months. We have like tons of months left before he officially now reaches the 2-year-old mark. Ultra Hit surpassed that. And by the time UI Goku becomes the 2-year-old mark, he's about to reach the 3-year-old mark. So, give him an equipment. Of course, people are going to say, he's going to be so toxic because of the time skip. Have you not seen what Ultra Rose was able to do with that equipment? To this day, he is mad annoying. He's now easier to kill, but he's so annoying. He literally has a disrupt. Somehow he gets like over 3 million HP, no matter, even if you don't get him an HP buff. Somehow still over 3 million HP. Now people are, of course, saying that this could be very, very toxic because of the time skip. Think of the time skip as literally Gohan's Special Beam Cannon. If you get Perfect Vanished and he pops this time skip, and he has like, of course, let's say he does have the platinum equipment, right? And you get PV'd and he time skips, you're dead. Unless you're using a freaking tanky blue unit, you're dead. And that's it. Because he does get extra attacks against characters that's blue, right? Which is good, which in its prime was good against characters like Ultra Beast Gohan, right? And since, we got blue characters like Super Saiyan 4 Goku, could be very useful. Definitely probably not enough to kill, right? But yeah, so those are all my Ultra Platinum equipments. Now we're going to move on to part 2. Why people already hate the Diamond tag now. I don't think Diamond's over. I think this will officially be like the final character we get for a while. And then after this character, we probably won't see another Daima buff until like 2 years from now. Then we're going to get Ultras. Ultra Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Goku, right? Ultra Goma. We could be seeing that. But of course, too soon. Way too soon. So, LF Goma it is. The only main character that we're missing. He's the only antagonist from Daima, right? The Tamagamis aren't antagonists. Because they ended up helping Goku against Goma, right? If you didn't see the scene, it was either Ku in Tamagami or Do in Tamagami that held off Goma's blast until Goku was able to go Super Saiyan 3. That's helping him, whether you want to believe it or not. That's literally helping him. So they weren't antagonists. He's the only main antagonist of the whole series. Because everybody else, so far, or the only antagonist that we don't have in Legends. There might be other antagonists, in the series, because I didn't watch Daima yet. I didn't watch it. I've just seen summaries, some spoilers. Okay. Because obviously I can still watch it because I forgot the spoilers. Like, all I know is that Vegeta went Super Saiyan 3, Goku went Super Saiyan 3, Goma's the main villain, and Goku went Super Saiyan 4. That's all I remember. And honestly, I couldn't really care less about that because I wasn't really going to watch Daima that much anyway. I'm still going to watch it. Probably not anytime soon. But Goma it is, right? Definitely a part 2 worthy character. Again, he's not hype enough to lead an anniversary. And in my opinion, definitely not hyped to end an anniversary. But definitely hype enough to be part of the anniversary. Whether it's a 1% Sparking and LF, he's worthy enough to be part of the anniversary, right? So giving us an LF Goma can easily be part of the anniversary because it's Daima. And on top of that, he's the only other character, besides Super Saiyan 3 Goku, the only main character that we're missing. Of course, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta Mini, Super Saiyan 4 Goku Mini, but we ain't gonna get that probably for another year or two. We're gonna probably get those as Ultras. But yeah, that's one of the LFs. And now let's move on to part 2. I accidentally said part 2 again. Let's move on to the second LF. But the second LF, I know you guys are gonna hate this also. In LF Tag Ultimate Gohan and Piccolo. I know what you're saying. Dude, another Gohan? Did we not just get Beast Gohan? And did we also just got Future Gohan and Trunks, right? Why are we getting another Gohan? What is Dragon Ball Legends without one Gohan at least every year? Every year we're going to get a Gohan that's broken. Gohan and Trunks was actually a pretty broken character because people were saying that he was better than Ultra Cell. Of course, at the moment he's not anymore. But they were saying he was better than them at the time. The freaking succession mechanic, and on top of that, their combos seem like it goes on forever. And when Trunks dies, the blue card has one-shot potential. That stuff is annoying. But of course, at the current moment, they're still a top 10 character, just not as good as Cell anymore. But, an LF Tag Piccolo and Ultimate Gohan will honestly be a pick. We all know that Legends for Part 2s has always included a sagas from the movie's characters, starting from the 3rd anniversary. We got LF Revival Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. The 6th anniversary, the 4th anniversary, we got Dragon Fist. The 5th anniversary, we got Orange Piccolo and the Gammas. The 6th anniversary, we got God Goku and Beerus. 7th anniversary, Gohan and Piccolo. The only sagas for the movie's character that I believe could be hype enough. This character is honestly hype enough to lead off an anniversary, right? But this might be part 2 worthy because why would they release this for a headliner if Universe Rep is confirmed to get a buff and then we're guaranteed fusions for the anniversary, right? So good for part 2. Definitely hype enough to lead off an anniversary, but don't see it happening. Of course, you could say an LF, DBS, Broly and stuff, but it has to be transforming, and he needs to have a pretty good mechanic, right? In order to be part of the anniversary, or worthy of a part 2, right? But now, let's move on to the 1% Sparkings. So the 1% Sparky that I think could be on Goma's banner is Super Saiyan 3 Do. Now, he's probably the only character in the series. Now, it can't only just be Do, right? It can obviously be the Tamagamis. It can be Tamagami 1. It could be Tamagami 2. It could be a game's original tag unit, right? We can do that. But Super Saiyan 3 Do is probably one of the only picks. Except I don't know if we're going to get another Do that fast, right? I think it could be Tamagami number 1 or Tamagami number 2. Of course, it's still to be determined. But I think Super Saiyan 3 Do is probably the most possible pick because he actually threw hands with Goma. He literally threw hands against Goma with Goku, right? So I think that's a very possible pick. A very possible pick. And I know another Do. But I think this character would be melee type. I don't think he'll be defensive. I don't think he'll be another ranged. I don't think he'll be support. I think he'll be melee instead of the constant. And instead of the paralyzed after endurance, I don't think this character will have endurance. But I think this character will mainly be a damage dealer. It won't be as annoying as Do. Like, as annoying as the Do that we have now. More of a damage dealer, right? Very good pick, very possible pick. I'm going kind of quick with this because I want to have some free time, right? Very possible pick. Very, very possible. Let's move on to the 1% sparking for Ultimate Gohan and Piccolo. I didn't really watch the movie enough to really see if Dr. Hito or Hedo has really did some serious fighting, right? But if he did, a pretty good 1% sparking. If he didn't really do that much fighting, you could obviously just give him a move, right? Just a random move, and he'll mainly be a support type. I don't think he'll be melee, nor ranged, nor defensive. I think he'll be support. Because if he barely did any fighting, why make him a melee or ranged or defensive? Let's take Red Pan, for example. Pan barely did any fighting. I mean, she did train, and she did fight some of the Red Ribbon people, right? But she didn't really do, insane amounts of fighting or insane amounts enough to make her melee or defensive or ranged, right? But support type. Same with Nerd Gohan. He didn't really fight that much when he was in nerd form, I guess you can say. So he was also a support type. So make Dr. Hito, Hedo, whatever you want to call him, a support type if he barely did any fighting. Again, I still have to watch. I'm still going to watch some scenes. And then I'll, of course, change my mind if I do find some scenes, right? But yeah, so Dr. Hedo, support type. You could also toss up the Gammas, but why? Yeah. We also really haven't gotten a new Extreme unit on the banner, in a very long time. I think the last one, bro. I think the last time we got an Extreme unit on a banner was... Dang, it's been a while, hasn't it? Yeah, I think it was probably Broly. I think, actually, it was LF Broly. That was the last time I think we got an Extreme unit on a banner. I could be absolutely wrong, right? But yeah, it's been a while. So whether you want to make him a 1% sparking in Extreme, again, it's all up to Legends. But I think 1% sparking, right? Now, let's move on to potential Zenkais. I don't really see this being the case, but this is kind of the only character I can think of that... No, shoot, I left out. This is the only character I can really think of that you can Zenkai and make him buff purple and powerful opponents, right? Now, you might say DKP, but you could have Zenkai him during the Dragon Ball campaign, right? You could toss up this Cooler, right? But again, you could have literally gave him one last year, right? I mean, we were in the powerful opponent campaign. He is powerful opponent, so you could have Zenkai'd him. And also, you could just give him an equipment, right? You could say, well, because Zenkai is Turles. Actually, I think he already has a Zenkai, yeah. You probably could have said, we could have Zenkai'd this Bojack, right? But we were literally in the Saga from the Movie Z campaign. You could have Zenkai'd him then. We weren't, you could have gave him a Zenkai during the GT campaign, but at the time, he wasn't even 2 years old. But let me not say anything we didn't just get a Zenkai for a character that didn't even come out a full year yet, right? So if you Zenkai him and give him purple and powerful opponents it probably would make the most sense. It would probably make the most sense. Um, Again, like I said, you could have Zenkai'd them other characters, but again, there was multiple scenarios where you could have Zenkai'd those characters, right? But they missed out on them. Of course, also Goku Black. But mind you, how Future was getting buffed during the Legends Festival, and you could have gave him a Zenkai. So, yeah, again, I don't know. But I think that's very possible. Again, I could be completely wrong. But again, these are predictions. Obviously, none of this that I'm saying is guaranteed. None of it. The only thing I can say that's pretty much guaranteed is Ultra MUI Goku. That's guaranteed. That's guaranteed for sure. But everything else, not really, right? But, of course, you already have characters that does buff purple and powerful opponent. Like, true that. But might want to give him one more Zenkai buff, right? Think about it. The blue Spirit Bomb Goku already had tons of Zenkai buffs. But no, Super 17 already had pretty good Zenkai buffs. And then Omega Shenron was gonna get a Zenkai, right? Actually, no, I can't say that. UI Sign Goku, Ultra UI Sign Goku already had great Zenkai buffs. LF Super Saiyan 4, LF Super Saiyan 4 Goku, LF Super Vegeta, that stuff. LF, not LF. Super Saiyan God, did I say LF Super Vegeta? I mean, LF Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Super Vegeta, because he buffs Saiyans, and then Yellow Super Saiyan God Vegeta, because he buffs God Ki. But then they turned around and gave Bardock a Zenkai, right? But again, anything could change. Now, I'm not really going to cut this part for the other character. Another Zenkai that I think is pretty possible is Pan. I think Pan can honestly be a pretty good Zenkai because she's from Superhero. And I'm not going to lie, she was very good, and she still is pretty good, but can definitely, in my opinion, use a Zenkai. I mean, she would be annoying as heck, but I think it's pretty possible because she's from Superhero, and she's kind of the only 1% sparking superhero character I think could get a Zenkai. Or this Piccolo. We can also toss up this Piccolo. We could also, toss up this Piccolo. But again. I keep on saying but again. Sorry, I'm just trying to say my words. But again, Pan is a support type. So she needs to have some sort of tanking, some sort of damage in the kit, which is why I think she can be a very good potential Zenkai, right? But of course, we can also toss in this Piccolo because he kind of sucks. He was worse than Pan. Like out of him, Beast, Gohan, and Pan, he was definitely the worst one. Like no one was calling him bad. He was just the worst one. But yeah, guys, so that's what I think the Zenkais could be. Now for Ultra Platinum equipment, I can't say nothing about Daima, right? I really can't say nothing about Daima per se. But if we are going to talk about superhero, nothing comes to mind. Literally nothing comes to mind. Because if we think Hybrid Saiyans, the oldest Hybrid Saiyan Ultra was Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, which is way too soon for an equipment. Regen? Now, Regen is one. Regen is a good one. And Kid Buu fits that. But really, no. Namekians, we don't have any Ultra Namekians. So, kind of nothing for part 2, right? Kind of nothing for part 2. Within Ultra Platinum equipments, right? And now we're going to move on to the big finale. The Ultra unit to end it off. So, in my opinion, we could make him the Ultra for part 1 along with Super Gogeta. And then for the finale, make Ultra MUI Goku 1. But if we're still sticking with the same format that we said, I think Ultra Jiren could end off the anniversary. Now, not as hype as MUI Goku, but still pretty hype. But since I don't think this is going to happen, now let me change part 1. So instead of Ultra MUI Goku being for part 1, I think we can get an Ultra Jiren. And then to end off the anniversary, I think we can get in Ultra MUI Goku. That's my pick. That's my take. So again, to change it. Ultra MUI Goku for the end of the anniversary and Ultra Jiren to start off the anniversary, right? And then for Ultra Plats, I mean, again, Ultra Hit, right? Ultra Hit. And Zenkai's actually, again, MUI Goku. But if we're not going to do MUI Goku, right? Like, if we're not only including LFs, I think this Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta could get a Zenkai. I think this Golden Frieza could get a Zenkai. But again, we just got a free-to-play Golden Frieza, so probably not. Yeah, those are my picks. So that is my full take. I'm not going to cover events because this video will be way too long. But yeah, guys, so that was my full guide on my full 7th anniversary predictions. Again, this is supposed to be the best year, so my predictions might not fully be 100% correct. I'm also just gonna still stay on the fact that we could get 2 LFs for part 1. I just tossed out an Ultra for part 1 along with an LF because that's what everybody else is saying. But in my personal opinion, I think we're gonna stick with the 2 Legends Limiteds for part 1, 2 Legends Limiteds for part 2, and then the big finale Ultra for part 3. That's just what I think. But yeah, guys, so that's the end of the video. Finally, if you guys enjoyed it, make sure you guys like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one, guys, and peace.